So the offer process and the legal process, this is where you're going to need to be on your A game. So you're going to need to be involved in every step of this. You're going to be needing to push your solicitor forward. You're going to be needing to put pressure on the broker, the lender, everyone to ensure that things are moving forward as quickly as possible, because you're going to be under immense pressure from the auction house or the estate agent or the vendor to complete this as quickly as possible. So when it comes to the legals, they're going to ask you all the standard inquiries. They're going to want all the standard searches, so your local search, your water drainage search. They may want mining searches, depending on where you are. That tends to be more in the north. Radon searches, all of these random searches that you normally get whenever you purchase a property. They're not going to want anything outside of the norm. Depending on the area you are, you might have chancel searches, which are a very rare one, but that essentially is a search to check whether there is a obligation for you to pay towards the local church upkeep. So that's a very random search that comes up now and again. But that shouldn't affect the lending process. But these are things that you're going to have prepared and sorted. The main majority of inquiries they're going to be asking are all of the inquiries that you would get on a standard purchase. So rights of way, deeds of covenant, going through the land registry title plans, going through the land registry title register, checking previous conveyances, checking essentially the history of the property, checking for any planning permissions that may be going in locally, anything to do with your water, your drainage, anything like that. Just generally the state of the property legally. So all the normal stuff that you would have. Before you get to the legal process, there's going to be an offer that's issued to you from the lender. So they will issue a full offer at the point that the valuation is back, maybe if you've had to have an asset manager go out or something like that. But this full offer will essentially detail down everything in its final format of what you're going to spend out in terms of interest, arrangement fees, exit fees, what you're going to get net day one, any application fees, commitment fees, all of these things. So that offer is the bit that you then need to work off when working with the lawyers in terms of ensuring that you understand fully your obligations under that offer. What will then happen is once you're in the legal process, that offer will then become essentially a deed of charge. So they will then essentially convert it into a charge. At that point, they're the documents that you will sign, and that is what then puts the legal charge on your property, the first charge that's then registered at the land registry and company's house. So just make sure when you're going through the legal process that you're using, and this is probably the key bit, a solicitor that understands bridging finance, development finance, refurb finance, and making sure that they understand how that process works. Because reading through a buy-to-let mortgage as a solicitor is much different to reading through a bridging document, because they're completely different. It's chalk and cheese. So they need to understand what they're going through, and they need to understand how to portray that across to you so that you know when you sign those documents what you're signing up to and essentially what your exposure is to the lender. As part of the legal process as well, they're also going to get you to sign a personal guarantee, which is something that we will cover in later videos, but that is key, the personal guarantee. And they'll also get you to sign a debenture over the limited company as well, something else that we'll cover in a later video. But they are two key documents that you will need to sign. You will also need to go and get independent legal advice as well. So that is another expense during the legal process. So the solicitor that is going through your documentation, going through the legal process, can't be the solicitor that sits with you when you sign the legal charge or the PG or the debenture. So what you have to do is you then have to go and instruct a second solicitor to sit and do the independent legal advice with you. And they will just run through the offer with you. They'll explain it all to you and say, right, do you understand that you owe X amount of money? Do you understand that your personal guarantee is X amount? Do you understand that there's a debenture over the legal entity, the limited company? And they will just run through all of that with you. ILA, independent legal advice, normally costs a few £100. So again, that's another cost that you need to build in within the legal process as well. But all in all, it's a relatively simple offer and legal process, but that's how it should all work.